Hi, it's Becky. A common e-learning element is asking learners to type their names at some point during a course. Often this is done at the beginning, since once a learner's name is captured, it can be easily inserted into the content, creating a personalized effect. Whatever your reason is, you typically want to set this up so that learners can't move on without completing the name entry. One way to do this in Storyline is with a slide layer. So watch what happens here when I click Next without typing my name in. The layer pops up letting me know that I've forgotten. I'll click on OK, click inside the box, go ahead, type my name in, click Next, and I can continue on my way. So let's see how that would be set up. What I would do is come over to the Insert tab, and I want to insert a data entry, and that data entry is the text entry. So I click and drag over here to insert that text entry box. And I'm not going to be careful about formatting here or positioning. So I'll click on backspace to delete that text, and I would type my own text in here if I wanted to change it from the default. The next thing I like to do is come down to the text entry box and type a name for that entry. This is good housekeeping. Also over here, I want to come over to Manage Project Variables. The variable has already been entered for me, but again, I want to change that name from the default name. And I'm calling it name since the learners are going to be typing their name into that box. Now I need to create the warning layer, so I'll come over here, insert a new layer. And on that layer, I like to insert a shape onto the slide so that the slide is kind of dimmed in the background. Oops, I kind of lost that corner of that box. I want the slide to be dimmed in the background. So I will format this shape with a black fill, and I will fill it to about 25% since that makes a nice dimmed effect when I put that prompt in. Just going to get up there a little bit higher. Now I want to insert the prompt. I was using a caption for that, so I'll come over here and click and drag to put that caption on the screen, and I'll type something in like, please type your name. I also need to insert a button here, so I'm going to do that. Insert the button, and we're going to call that an OK button. What's going to happen is the learners are going to be able to close the layer, so I'll add a trigger that will close or actually hide that layer when the learners click on OK, so they can go ahead and type in the information that's needed. Now I need to come down to the base layer and add the two triggers. One of the triggers is a new trigger that will show that layer, and that's that right now it's just called an untitled slide layer. When the learner clicks on that next button, but only on condition that they didn't fill in the information. So on condition that that name variable is equal to a value of blank. And ignore case simply means we don't care whether they use upper or lower case. That's one of the triggers that we need. I'm going to scoot that up one here in the trigger panel. The other one is to change this jump to the next slide trigger. So let's double click it. I'll do that now. We don't want them to be able to jump to the next slide unless that variable, that name entry box, is not equal to a value of blank. So I'll click on OK to set that up. While we're setting things up, I'm going to come over here because this is where we wanted to personalize things. We want the learner's name to appear here. And we can do that by inserting a reference. And the reference we want to insert is to that name variable. So I'll click on OK. And I'm also going to add a comma and a space here so that it looks nice when it's all set. Let's preview it and see if it's working. So here comes the slide. I am not going to type in my name. I'm going to click on the next button. The layer came up with a prompt. I'll click on OK. That allows me to type my name in. I'll do that now. Click on Next. And there we are. It's also been personalized. A different way to ensure that learners stop and fill in text entries is by using a hidden text box on the base layer. If you'd like to see how that works, be sure to check out that screencast.